You know what you'll find. Music, love, happy Christmas, Mopomoso, happy Christmas, dear Charles Soul.
Just to confirm, I'm in gallery mode, so I can see everybody, and I will leave it in gallery mode.
I can also see a record button on mine. Should I just hit it? Or does it just record me? Is that the problem?
No. I can give you permission. I just have to. I've given you permission now. So yeah, if you do it too, then we will definitely have a recording.
Yeah.
Now we just can't see Pascal. That's the problem there.
Yeah,
No. Okay, I will restart the computer.
Yeah.
Something wrong with this Zoom. See you.
Who is recording in a speaker view?
No one. Do you want speaker view?
I think it's good to have one gallery and one speaker view.
Well, I can try that.
Yeah.
I'm recording in gallery.
Cool.
Yeah, I think, yeah, I'll leave it as that.
Yeah.
Shall we start, and then if Pascal comes in, he can join us?
Yeah, we could do.
I think we should do that. That was a little bit more gentle than last week, I seem to remember.
Yeah.
The ballad. That was, yeah.
Gentle.
Oh, are you there, Pascal? Well, I could hear him then.
Yeah, I can hear you, but I can't see you.
No, I'm not even sure he's there now. Thought I heard him.
James is in quiet mode.
Yeah, I could only hear certain people. I couldn't really hear James.
Yeah, I think the sound is quiet.
Yeah, great. Yeah, I think it's good to to improvise with hats also in the Christmas time. Oh, where's my other? I think that surprised you. This is more maybe for New Year.
Yeah.
Um, the others, they really have beautiful hats. Yeah, but maybe not to confuse anybody. This is the official style. Oh yeah, this is great. This is really small, you know.
Yeah, but it's so funny if you would put off the hat, the new hat is appearing. So, or the hat under the hat.
Yeah. Yes, I can do this too.
Yeah.
Small hat, and then and when I play, good exercises, working with different hats and oh.
So busy.
Is it cold in Tokyo now?
Yeah, very cold. Maybe tomorrow or next tomorrow or the weather forecast says maybe snowing.
Snowing?
Or maybe
like in New York.
not so much. So small snow will come tomorrow or next tomorrow.
That we're ready.
How long are we playing for?
Oh, I don't know.
As long as it takes, basically. I think it's just sort of see how it goes.
1 minute,
Yep.
2 minutes?
I
And
think
what do
the
we?
idea, well, no, I think the idea is we're going to sort of play and then sort of organically sort of drop out and then just start chatting and then just play maybe a little bit and just see how it goes. I think that's the idea, isn't it? As far as I think that's what we talked about on Sunday, that sort of thing. Just see how it goes, I suppose.
Wow,
And maybe
fireworks.
maybe play all together for about 2-3 minutes. Do you think? Is that all right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Cool.
see how it goes. think that was suitably Christmassy enough, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah.
I came over all mistletoe.
Sorry, I can't
Came over
remember
all
what happened.
mistletoe. It's really exciting.
So I think the idea was basically us now to sort of have a chat about how the program's been going and how it started and the sort of the way we've improvised our way into it, I guess. Because I mean, it's interesting looking at you now. I mean, I knew at the beginning of this sort of lockdown, I know Sylvia, Pascal, Costas, Charlotte to a degree, Paul to a degree. Maria I've never met before. Christopher apparently I met years and years and years and years and years ago and don't remember, I'm afraid. A gig at the Red Rose. But amazing how we've all got here together.
Yeah.
I think it's been really organic and never thought we'd finish up here.
But also, I mean, just being able to meet up with people where geography doesn't matter. That's been a real eye-opener that, you know, that we can be meeting with Christopher every, you know, once or twice a week, and also with Maria and Pascal, you know, I mean, sorry, we, the Londoners, I mean, and sort of, and Paul in Luton and Tim in Faversham, and, you know, it's like everybody's all over the place. It's wonderful.
One of the real ironies of what they call lockdown being it's been so opening in so many ways. It's opened up a lot of ideas.
Yeah.
Particularly in
true.
the concept of the programs where, you know, when it was the physical concerts at the Vortex, of course, it was entirely reliant on people coming to that place. And now we're open to absolutely anyone, anywhere, basically. I mean, obviously in a completely different situation in many ways, but restricted in so many ways, but ironically freeing in others.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think we'll probably keep it all going, won't we? Even if venues open again, and it may change slightly, but
Yeah, because it does have it's got a different flavour from real life.
and a lot of the things that we've seen.
Maria, can't hear you. I think you're on mute.
I know it is. No, I was just going to say, and we can share it with people too, because a lot of people I know don't know the music that I do, and this is a good way to show them music that I do, but more than just what I do specifically.
Yeah.
No, it's been brilliant. It's kept me sane, I think. He said taking off his Christmas hat. It's kept me quite sane.
It's so tiny.
Yeah, I can't believe how long we've been doing it now. I mean, when was the first programme? Was it June?
I think it was, yeah, Tim, yeah.
I have to imagine that. It's weird. I mean, in some ways it's gone really fast this year, and in some ways really slow. It's been very, very strange. Very, very strange. So we got it together pretty quick, and I mean, I know John pretty much contacted all of us. He certainly did with me, and said, "Do you want to join and help with this program?" Pretty soon after, you know, lockdown, and because I think the very last concert I went to was a Mopomoso, which would have been possibly in March. I can't remember now, or it would have been February or March. I guess would it have been the third?
But it was the last gig I did actually. It was the 15th of March, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's the last gig I did. That was at the Mopomoso.
Have a look at my diary.
That was with. I did it with Southiac, those young Italian guys.
Yeah, 15th.
That was the last time I actually.
So it was the earliest a Mopomoso could be in the month, fortunately, because probably if it had been a week later, it wouldn't have been on.
Yeah.
So it would have been, that was the last live gig I think I did then, yeah. That was amazing, and I think we knew it was going to happen then. I think there was a lot of talk in the air, you know.
Yeah.
But,
there was already sort of people choosing to not go out to gigs and stuff like that at that point.
Yeah, that's right.
And yeah, I think I was doing something down. I was going to do something down at Eclectic, and then I thought, no, it's probably on the 20th or something like that, and I thought, no, this doesn't feel right. And then, sure enough, we went into lockdown, and the gig was pulled anyway. But yeah.
It's great as well that other people have been doing things. I know Adrian and Sue have been doing their sort of things at the Eclectic, haven't they?
Yeah.
The horse.
Charlotte, the LIO's been doing things, haven't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Eclectic have also been doing other things as well. I can't remember the names of the. Yeah, but there've been things there, and Orphe.
Oh, okay.
Freedom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's been putting
what's
stuff
that?
out.
They would also. Well, it's the open. It's like a jam session, but it's very free improvisation, and that's also at the Vortex. We'd normally meet at the Vortex, but that's been every month now online, and people have videos, free improvisation videos.
Right.
So the folks that organise it reach out for people to send in videos, and that's been
solos. Quite a lot of solos, isn't it? Yeah.
I was going to ask that. I mean, has anyone here done regular Zoom concerts of playing with other people?
Well, Gio does it every week.
Right.
Every week, but we don't live stream it. The ensemble I work with was doing it quite a bit at the beginning, but then I think we got a little bit sick of doing it live quite quickly.
I was just wondering how easy or difficult is it actually to sort of hear everyone, and is there a delay and all that sort of stuff?
I mean, I think that with Geo, it's such a big group. I mean, sometimes we had 30 people in the sessions, but I don't think that. I mean, I think that all of those issues are stuff that we're quite good at in general as free improvisers. Like, latency doesn't really matter when you're hearing someone do something. And I think also the notion of like it conducting how many microphones are let through at any one time is also just another interesting way that we do work. It is kind of like Zoom as a conductor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a wonderful experience.
In the sense that just organically you can hear certain stuff, or okay.
Yeah.
Well, and according to people's internet and maybe the microphones in their computers and things like that. So, I mean, for instance, this last little thing, there were certain people that I could hear about 3 people out of 8. But it might be a different 3 people for everybody, and maybe Maria's recording it, so maybe you were able to hear everybody, or maybe you weren't.
No, so there's like a central magic that Zoom records, and that's quite fun, I think, because it is just the little bits of what we did coming through, and if you listen, you can listen sometimes to each of your inputs alone. It records the stems as well, and so I'll hear just you playing alone, which is great, but also the silences where obviously Zoom didn't catch what you did.
Yeah.
Kind of like a ghost.
Yeah, I think it's really, and that's really cool as free improvising musicians to be able to play with that, and the visual side of it as well. I did don't know if you guys have heard of the series Infectious Air. Roland Sutherland, a flautist. He's on the team, but behind that, and it was a really beautiful experience because I just played solo, and then I did a duo with Liam Noble as well, and that was all on Zoom. And I could see all these people tuned in from around the world, it seemed. But it was so lovely to actually see their faces looking at us and listening to us. And that's something that I don't often see when I'm doing a live gig, because when you do, you've got the room is often dark and you can't, there's not many you can actually see. But on Zoom, it was such a special experience to actually see everybody in their homes with the lights on and actually really paying attention. Or in the street, some people walking around in the street listening to us. But I finished that and I felt like, wow, I've done a gig and I'm in my bedroom. That felt really, really connected. And I went for it. But I I know it would have been different for, as you were saying, Sylvia, about the different. It would have been different for everybody, how they were hearing it, how I was hearing it, how Liam was hearing it. It would have been, and that's really interesting, because I obviously I won't know how it came across, but for me it felt really connected and really fun and musical. So
I had a funny experience like that early on in very, very early Zoom meeting where Canterbury Improvisers Orchestra played.
Yeah.
And came on, and certain people said, "Oh, hi Tim, hello." And Sam, the guy organising it, said, if you're, he must have said this at one point, I wasn't listening, and he said, if you're an audience member, take your video off. And I didn't, and I was there. Everyone else was playing, and I hope I wasn't picking my nose or something, but I was just there, and somebody said, "Oh, we were watching you, and all you were doing was drinking cups of tea and things like this." And so I said afterwards, I said it was a Fluxus piece, it was just, it was just. But I had no idea you were meant to sort of take your video off and all that stuff. I'm terrible with that sort of stuff.
So I was standing in the forest, and the sheep were coming up, and they kick you. Yes, it was a very interesting experience.
But why were they making so much noise? Were they looking for the little ones?
I think they were lucky going to the forest. It was a very hot day, and they should go through the forest because it's better for them.
Yeah. Okay, so they're kind of going, "Hey, we're going to the forest! Yay!"
They're expressing happiness.
Yeah.
Yeah, happy sheep.
Happy sheep.
Happy sheep. Okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
They go through the forest and finish up at the abattoir, It's a real sad. There's a sad end to this story.
Oh, they can fight back though. I remember once near my mum. My mum lived up in a sort of real sheep area. One time we were in a shop, and a guy came in, one of the farmers, with a broken nose, and he'd been helping a sheep over a stile or something, and it head-butted him.
Yeah.
Broken his nose.
Yeah, they're never grateful, sheep. Guys helping them over the fence, and sheep fight.
They're incredibly strong. I once tried to get a sheep out of somebody's garden, and the two of us were pulling and pushing, and we tried both pushing, and then we tried both pulling, and then it was just impossible. Couldn't get the sheep out of the garden.
Still there.
Well, we had to get the farmer along. The sheep had sort of jumped over a fence and got into the garden, and I had to call the farmer out.
You're supposed to wear suits made of brown paper to do that. So it's all about rustling.
Coming back to John, yes.
Think about it.
Yeah. There are several terrible jokes along the lines of that. Yeah.
We should have recorded this conversation.
We are.
Recording.
We are.
Are we recording? Okay. Yeah. These are the
I take it all back. I don't.
Tell any terrible jokes. Now's the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Particularly
I think we
involving
call it
word ruffles.
peripherals. The
Yeah.
essential peripherals of improvised music. Talking about sheep and mice
Brussels
and
sprouts. Brussels sprout reference, surely.
Mm.
and
Peripheral.
frogs they have always great sounds.
They do, yeah.
The frogs up near where I am are amazing. John knows about them. These marsh frogs up in Kent, because he grew up in the south of Kent. I'm in the north, and I went down. It was when I was on my bike in the summer. The first time I'd been on a bike in 40 years. I realised it was hilarious. And I went down. There's a lovely little nature reserve overlooking Sheppey. And one time I went down, and the marsh frogs were
We're left on a cliff edge.
what?
We're left on a cliff edge because you froze.
That's right. Oh, wow. Where were we? Where was I?
Marsh frogs.
Yeah.
Marsh frogs. And I went down to this nature reserve, and there were the marsh frogs were making incredible noise, really, really noisy. So I was taping them and putting them on people's answer phones without any reference, just microphone over, and I think loads of people got marsh frogs on their answer phone.
Lovely.
But yeah, John said they're quite famous apparently in that area. They're not your standard frogs.
Cool.
And I remember, I don't think they're the same frogs I have in my pond, for example. I think they're a different type.
Wow.
But,
Yeah. Wonderful.
Beautiful, really beautiful sound. Lol was always a frog fan. I know that he was a big fan of frog sound. In fact, I bought off Ulrika. I bought one of his old folkway records, the sounds of North American frogs or something like that. A lot of which sounds like electronic music. Really amazing. Really, really amazing. I know Pauline Oliveros was inspired by some of those marsh frogs. She did a piece, didn't she, based on bogs or something. On the sounds of frogs. Lol, of course, had Frog Dance. That song is, of course, called Frog Dance. With tune. And there was another story. I remember Lol saying that he was doing some recordings in Italy, and there was a pond nearby with these amazing frogs. And he thought, right, on one of the last day of recording, I'll have to go out and record with them. And of course, Sod's Law went out that day, no sound at all. They'd all gone, or all stopped singing anyway.
Depends partly on the moon and whether there's moonlight or not.
Oh, when I heard them, it was broad daylight.
Oh, okay.
The middle of the day on a very, very, very hot day when they were all singing that particular time. And the weird thing is, you couldn't see any of them. They were all in this trench, sort of ditch by the side of the road, and you could just hear them, loads of them, loads, but couldn't see a single one.
Wow.
But yeah, that was very close to where I did that recording with the Bowmans in that hide.
Yeah.
That was on that same little peninsula.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
Overlooking the Isle of Sheppey.
Fantastic.
Speaking of sheep, island, do you know that, Christopher? There's a little island just north of Kent where I am called the Isle of Sheppey, which is literally means the sheep island.
Oh, no. I only know London a bit, and I've been to Brighton and in Scotland, but all the other areas, sorry, I've never been there. It's a pity.
No, you should look it up though. It's got an interesting history, Sheppey. It was invaded and razed by the Dutch at one point in the late 18th century. When the Navy was under Samuel Pepys's sort of leadership, basically, and the Dutch invaded and razed Sheppey to the ground, apparently.
Isn't that didn't Turner do a picture of the Dutch going up the
Swale?
the one that goes through Rochester.
Yeah. The Medway. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Medway. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's further on. Yeah, that's a bit further on. I didn't know that. Yeah.
I think was it Turner? There is a picture. Somebody help me out there.
No, I'm not sure.
No.
I'll look that one up. Turner went everywhere though. He went all over.
Yeah.
But speaking of odd animal stories as well, there's a great one with Sheppey, which is that because it's fairly flat and isolated, there was a lot of early aviation went on there. And I think even the Wright brothers visited Sheppey. And apparently technically the very first cargo air flight was on Sheppey, and it was a pig in a waste paper basket being held below a very primitive plane. So yeah,
wow.
First probably live cargo or something. But yeah, and a pig in a waste paper basket.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's air fried. Yeah.
Flying pig. Pigs will fly on Sheppey, you know. But no, it's a very interesting area.
Yeah, no, we're around my way in on the Tottenham Marshes or the Walthamstow Marshes is well known for I think it was the Avro brothers.
Yep.
They started there.
Christmas.
Ah, humbug.
Bugs. Christmas. All right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's happening on the 24th?
What you're saying now, what we've been doing tonight, basically edited.
Oh.
Now you know. It'll be you talking about sheep. It'll be you talking about sheep there.
Okay.
And I suggested to talk about chess.
Okay.
Chess. That's great. When you say chess, it sounds like jazz. Chess. It's the same word as
chess and jazz.
As spoken by you, Christopher.
Yeah, it's similar, and there are lots of ways to pronounce jazz, for example. I really hate. I don't want to talk about that, but yeah, that's true. And the chess thing is, I think, really interesting in comparison to improvised music, because we talked about the interview of the GeoFest on the third day, when Steve Beresford mentioned he saw Han Benning and Misha Mengelberg, and all the rule, the main rule for him was disturbed, that Han Benning was playing so loud that no one could hear Misha Mengelberg. And I think talking about rules is very interesting. I think playing chess for improvisers is really like you change the rules of the game. Yeah,
I don't see that. I mean, to me, chess is extremely rule bound, and then within that, of course, you can do stuff. But it's more like it's both composition and improvisation, isn't it? Chess.
Yes.
But the thing is, the outcome is like how things affect other things, and then you end up with That's in that sense it's similar, and also that when you go to a gig, you are the rules that you are going with are whatever it is that you've chosen to play.
Yes.
So you already have some rules in place, as in pre-decided things. They may be the things that you always take, I might always take my violin. Actually, I don't always take my violin, but if I make that decision in this room here before I get on a bus of which sounds I'm going to take to the gig. Some people don't have to make that decision because they just know what their instrument is, whereas I never know what my instrument is.
Or they have. Or they have a different approach. I remember another violin player, Keeffe Matthews.
Yes.
So when she goes on stage, I think she says, "Okay, I start with nothing." So
yes. Yeah.
And this is when you compare it to chess, it's a little bit like I sit in front of the board, and there's nothing on it, and then I collect my players from the situation I'm in, and this is and the other thing is, in chess you always try to get what they call the end game. In improvisation, I think free improvisation is never about an end game.
No, but there is a point where you've either been on a journey or you haven't. In that sense, there's an end game. And there's also the point at which you know when it's finished.
Yes, maybe it's more
And that,
specific if you're thinking of a solo or a duo. But if you have a larger group, then it comes be more complicated.
yeah.
And I think in my experience, I think that maybe then since 30 years, people communicate not in a way that they have to start a middle and an ending. They think and play back and forth and high and low, and they started in our generation. People started to expand all musical parameters that that the abstraction is on the highest level you ever can imagine. When I think, for example, of what the people's people like Sachiko M, or sine waves, it's something that that has another dimension, and it has nothing to do with Zen, for example, and it's still about musical parameters.
Of course, the thing with chess as well in improvised music is you couldn't play a solo game of chess in that sense. That's interesting that you do then have that, it's more the idea that solo improvising is instant composing, which I always think is an interesting thing, because you don't necessarily have the other person doing something else which you can work against. Whereas with chess, of course, you've got to have another player. So what you're doing is obviously influenced by them as much as what you're doing to them.
I have to say, when my son was about 7 or 8, and he came on tour with us in Germany, and he was getting into chess, and so while we were on stage, he would be in the dressing room and he would be playing chess against himself, and so he would be himself, and then and one time we came off stage, and he was in there and he was really a bit upset. I said, what's the matter? And he said, well, I was playing chess and I was playing against the other me, and the other me won.
I feel that way all the time.
Did you talk to your son about why the one that won wasn't jumping up and down? It was because if he was playing himself and the other self won, shouldn't he have been jumping up and down saying, I've beaten my other self?
Well, I think it's to do with which one he was identifying with. he was identifying with the one who
Lost. Yeah.
who eventually didn't
Yeah.
win. So yeah, it was an interesting sort of internal drama. But I mean, you know, those internal dialogues that we all have when we're playing, if we're doing a solo, you have these sort of, it's all, should I change what I'm doing now? Should I, you know, should I keep going with what I'm doing? Should I let it pull me, or no, I'm going to pull back off that, you know? But I think those are all interesting questions.
It reminds me of a concert, Derek Bailey and the DJ. It was in Berlin in the Schwangere Auster. And you got the feeling that the DJ isn't really listening to what Derek Bailey is playing. And at the end of the concert, he moved over to him, and you know, he catched his hand and put it in like this, you know, like when a boxer has won. So, but I think it's a perfect aim, if there's an aim in improvisation, to that you can say, oh, the other one has won. It's I like this idea. Not in the way of thinking somebody else is winning, but you don't want to win.
Yeah, but yeah, how would you class though winning in that context? I mean, what do you mean by that?
Oh, it's a naive dialectic, you know. It's winners and losers. It's obvious. They're always. So I think there's an illusion that there is no hierarchy in improvisation. It's I think it's an illusion, but it's not a problem that there can be some hierarchy elements in making music.
Yeah, and competitive. I mean, there's definitely can be competitive elements. Or sometimes one person, like I can think of a duo that I was involved with where I just felt I was playing chess and the other person was playing cricket. You know, it's like we were just playing two completely different games.
Yeah.
Which was very hard.
In a large ensemble, it's often the person who wants to play the last note that creates this kind of strange tension and can relate back to you with someone winning something. In the past, I've played very large ensembles where there's always someone who.
Always think with things like that, it should end up with a triangle or something like that.
That's why Zoom large ensemble is so great, because one, if you're the loudest, it doesn't mean that you're going to get through necessarily, so that doesn't win. And also the last note is, I think, sometimes really hard because there's a delay, and so I think the piece ends, but then someone doesn't hear that end when everyone else hears it. And so they keep playing, you get this clear, like, limping along ending, which is sometimes really beautiful. You get these like ends and then a coda, because then everyone else recognizes the end and leaves that last person to not just play the last note, but a kind of last phrase.
Yeah.
I remember.
It can be illness. So I did a gig many years ago in Amsterdam in the Paradiso, when the Paradiso used to put on big gigs, and we were doing, I think, Charlie Hart and me and someone. We were playing with an American pianist called Burton Green. He was quite well known guy, and we're playing away, and suddenly I'm aware of this guy with a white coat walking past me, and then another one came and it all petered out, and we looked over and Burton Green had bled so badly from his finger playing the piano that he'd sort of collapsed with low blood pressure on top of the piano, and they were wiping it down. Yeah, it was really weird.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
He was a complete madman, but I mean,
Wow.
Good God.
I remember the third Zoom session of the year. It was with Jörg Hubschmidt. We play at the New York Guitar Duo, and we said, yeah, let's play 5 minutes or something like that. And then we played, I think, 25 minutes, so much longer that we wanted to. And then we finished the session, and we really liked what we played. So we gave it a name. And the ending was a little bit long, and he called the piece Who's Got the Last Tone or Last Note or something like that. And I named it Only Lovers Left Alive. And I think we really got a similar feeling about that. Yeah. And on the next weekend, we had our first session with John. And this was also very great for me. Yeah, because it was so funny and it was so easy to do that. Yeah, so we did a couple of them, and the results they were on the first show in June. First, I edited. I didn't cut the talking about it in the beginning, but the other players said, "Oh, this is maybe too ridiculous," because it was more about laughing. And one piece was called "Following the Bees," and I gave it the title, but it was a really serious title because I thought, oh, this year it's not about the pandemic all the time, the climatic change, the dying of the insects. These are really important things we have to continue about this. And also, Donald Trump, it's for me it was like in a time machine. I thought, oh, now they have a new president, but 20 years ago there was really big expectation that Al Gore can change something, and then I think Mr. Bush won the race, and I thought, oh yeah, yes, we lost 20 years, and things like that. So what I wanted to say, yeah, Following the Bees was inspired by Toya and Robert Fripp. You can see this. We talked about that, but for me it was more like a political thing also. And I think this is something we all have in mind when we're playing music. It's not all the musical identity we try to explore, it's also the social identity. And this is a great thing about communities like any improvised music group. And yeah.
Yeah, my PhD research is very much trying to convince, I guess, or in my mind, convince that technique can be social, right? And I'm always harking on about Maggie Nichols and the social virtuosity, but in terms of what does that mean when we write it down, I think these are the skills which we know because we're a part of it, but to outside, they don't understand how it is actually our musical ability is also just our social ability.
Phil Minton's very keen on a lot of that stuff as well. It's interesting. It's the singers.
Yeah, definitely the singers. Yeah, and
Phil,
isn't it?
Well, one of the facts Phil goes on about is that he has no amplification. Electricity is not involved, so fossil fuels aren't involved or whatever. and that whole really bringing it down to that element of things. He's really interesting to talk to on those sort of social issues, Phil. Shall we do a bit of playing to finish out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't know if anyone more got more to say, or have we got enough? Because we'll have quite a lot of material now, won't we, Phil?
Yeah.
Blake is better.
Sorry, Christopher.
Shall we do oh shit.
Santa Claus is coming to town. Santa
Yeah, or
coming to town.
I don't know that tune. We could do Jingle Bells. No?
That's a good idea. Yeah. No. If people can properly play tunes, I'll be very quiet.
No, not to properly play tunes.
No, I can't.
Play the wood.
That's nice.
I'm Mopomoso, Momoso. I'm Mopomoso TV, I'm Mopomoso. I'm Mopomoso, a boso, a moso. I'm Mopomoso TV, I'm Mopomoso. I'm Mopomoso, a moso, a moso. I'm Mopomoso TV, I'm Mopomoso. TV, I'm Mopomoso. I'm Mopomoso TV, I'm Mopomoso. I'm Mopomoso TV, I'm Mopomoso. I'm Mopomoso, a sposo, moso. I'm Mopomoso TV, I'm Mopomoso. I'm Mopomoso, moso. I'm Mopomoso TV, I'm Mopomoso. I'm Mopomoso TV. I'm Mopomoso TV, I'm Mopomoso. I'm Mopomoso TV, I'm Mopomoso. I'm Mopomoso, I'm Mopomosi TV, I'm Mopomoso. I'm Mopomoso TV.
Fine.
You can work with that. Good.
The hands have it.
Yeah, that was really cool.